Homestead. Another bit of an update. We're looking in the pump station at the moment. I've done a few modifications, basically just changed the wiring. I've got power coming in from the charge station. You see it there going through the wall and it comes in. I've got the pump for our main system. This is the plumbing for the house. And this is our transfer pump that we use to pump water to the caravan at the moment. We're still using the caravan for showers and for washing up. So what we've got the power coming in the bottom there, comes up to this box where it splits off and then feeds into this switch here, which contains a fuse and the switch for this pump. This one here, as this is a bigger pump, it can draw up to 17 amps max. The switch isn't rated for that, so I've put in a relay, and there's a fuse built into the relay. It's got a 30 amp fuse in the relay that is replaceable. And I've also put in a voltmeter up the top to show us the voltage of the battery we're using. And now I can put the whole system under pressure, which I have tested. I had to fix a couple of leaks, but sorted that out. The only thing I haven't put under pressure is this pressure tank, as I don't want water sitting in there at the moment, as we're not using the system fully. You can see at the back of the shed there how the wire comes through. So while we're here, we might as well get some drinking water. We're still grabbing drinking water out of the side here. So I'll open that up. I'll open the valves to the pump, and then we will just flick that on. Might be a bit of air in the system to start with. So there's our filtered drinking water coming through. As you can see, filling up our barrel. See the voltage has dropped to 11.5, but that's just hooked to the old car battery. So it's not in the best condition, so we get a bit of voltage drop running the pump through it. And it's only early morning, so we don't have too much solar charge at the moment. So now that's all pumping through there. We've got a bit of air coming through because I've had it switched off. And if I turn off this valve outside, you see that pump turns off automatically, and our voltage has gone back up because the pump's got a built-in pressure switch which switches off at 60 psi. This is a 60 psi pump with a built-in pressure switch. This transfer pump doesn't have any pressure switch built in, so we just switch it on and off to transfer water to the caravan. You see, I'll open this valve back up and then the pump will just start again. Bit of pressure there. And that's not too noisy. I'm hoping that'll be enough flow and pressure for our shower and sink once that's all installed. As I've said before, this line here is before the first filter that goes to external taps. The second one will feed the shower, washing machine and sink, and the final one, which is going outside filling up our drinking container, is obviously for drinking water, which will have a separate drinking tap in the kitchen later on once we're all ready. So that's the upgrade I've done into the pump station. Over this way, I've put a IBC tank into the ground. So I dug that hole by hand. I'll put up a couple pictures. It was a bit of work, but I got it all done in one day. You see that's dropped in. This is a tank I used on the aquaponic system when I had that set up back at our old place. I'm going to build a box around this with a lid. I've left it up a bit just for easy access and for servicing, as it'll have a line coming in from the container for all wastewater. So this is the grey water system, and I'll have a sump pump in there with a float switch, and that'll go off to just fruit trees and things, which is fine for grey water. Won't go directly on vegetable gardens, it'll just for fruit trees. I'll probably use that existing pipe there as an overflow, and also bring the pipe from the sump pump out through there. Also up this way, I've finished the timber slab on the end of the shed here. I just had to extend that section. I had the rails done, I just had to screw the extra pieces of treated timber on there. So originally we were going to split this shed in half. It's a 6 metre long shed. But as you know, doesn't matter how big your shed is, it's just never big enough. So we're just leaving that shed as one, and it's just going to be a garden shed and tool shed. And it's still got building materials in it for the container as we're still building. And we're going to put a separate shed on the end here for the power room, which will be batteries and inverter and things. Originally we were also going to have the pump shed up here, but obviously I put that down there, which is a lot more handier having it close to the house, and there'll be less pressure drop from the pump being directly near the house. So this is where the power shed will be going once we're up to that stage. Recently I've been fairly busy in the set of 3 containers trying to get them done. You see we've got our power box done, and the electrician's put most of the wiring's pretty much done now inside. I think we've got one more power point to do when I've sheet that wall section. As far as the bathroom's concerned, we'll have a look. Not much has changed in there because I've been working in the set of 3 containers. We're all fairly well set up in the bedroom and that now. Still work to do, but I've got that shower unit in there. There's our temporary door, just a sheet hanging on that door rail. And our simple composting toilet. There's the cat toilet. But in this corner here, we're talking about having a separate laundry, but now we're just going to put the actual washing machine into this corner where I had the power point put in, which we originally decided we were going to do that. I had this power point put in for that, to have a washing machine put in this corner, as the bathroom is well big enough and it's not worth building a separate laundry room just for a washing machine. So the washing machine will be in the bathroom with the shower and toilets. There's plenty of room. Vanity sink will be going here at some stage in the future when I get around to it. But I'll show you what I've been busy doing lately. Here we are in the set of 3 containers. As you can see, I've done 2 sections of floor with that levelling cement. I've got this other 3rd section to do, and then I'll do the final covering over the whole lot, so it'll all be one floor together with no joins. But because I've done it in separate sections, I'll have to clean it all out and prime it. You got to paint it in a primer before I put the last layer over top, so you get good bond between the concrete. So you can see here we've got the walls completed. This morning I've just been putting up this sheeting here, and I've got the trim done, and also the trim and that done in the arches. I've left one here to show you. We've got one sheet done on this side. This is where our last power point is going. This is in the kitchen section. So we've got power points around there. I haven't sheeted this side yet. So you can see this is the walls of the container. So this is one container, this is the other container, and in between it has been filled with expanding foam. And that's just filled and then trimmed off, as you can see here. Grab some. That's the expanding foam after it's been cut off. So this wall was filled and all that. So I just grab a scrap piece here. And when I sheet the wall, I leave around 3 centimeters overlap. So I'll go past where I've cut the wall of the metal container and bring the cement sheeting past there. And I'll do that on this side also. And then basically I've just got this 90mm across. It's approximately 90mm gap between the fibre cement sheeting, and that is glued and nailed into position like so. So you'll have your other sheeting on this side. So I nail both sides. We'll go over to this other section that I've done. You see the nails there, and then I just punch them below the surface, and then I'll plaster over top of that so it'll be a smooth finish. The same is done up top. Sheet both sides, it is filled, and this is just put up between the two sheets of fibre cement, glued and nailed on the outside. And that's basically how that section is done. So basically all the sheeting I've got left, I've got to finish this section that I've just done this morning. Above this kitchen window has to be done. I'll put insulation in there. I just use some contact cement and glue it in to these cavities, because this used to be the container door. And I've also got to sheet that section which won't have any insulation because it's an internal wall. But we do have the foam, expanding foam in between that fills that gap. So that's what I've been up to lately, trying to get these 3 containers done, and I've made a fair bit of progress, as you can see. So once this sheeting's done, I've still got a box. I've got a box in where the power point comes in through the floor there. You can see I've boxed where the power comes through. I've got to do this section here. You can see where the power comes up through the floor and into the wall, travels up the wall to the power points, and then goes up into the ceiling for the lights, or up into the walls, and that runs across to the power points. Yeah, so that's a bit of an update. We're slowly getting there. It'll be nice when this is all sheeted and ready. Get some equipment and furniture in here. And then I guess once that's all done, we can start work on the kitchen and probably the power shed, and install our power setup. Well, a small version of it anyway to start with. We'll make it so it's expandable for later on. We'll be starting with 2 kilowatts of solar panels, as we've already got them. We had them before. We'll be using 2 kilowatts to start with, and then expand from there. And we'll just have to get some inverters and things and sort all that out. Before we do that, we'll finish this set of 3 containers. And then also we've got the deck to do in between the containers in that section, which will join this set of 3 and the bedroom and the bathroom containers together. Thanks again for joining us on the Bushblock Homestead. We'll catch you again next time. See you.